From the screens to all up in your sound waves, American and Global Beauty League, you are now tuned in to a brand new conversation which can only be found here at the People's Princess Podcast, the only home of those intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. For those who do not know me or have not seen my face or heard the sound of my voice, welcome to the palace. My name is Amaya Kai, and I am your host, the HPIC or head princess in charge, Chicago Cinderella, all things that God says I am. I am. And welcome to our palace, as I like to call it, or P3 Glasshouse Studios, because that is where we are right now. Y'all, the vibe, immaculate, but it's also a storm. So I have to make sure that I got a little bit of light in case of my power go out. Now, I know it don't sound right, but still, I got to make sure I give y'all something. It's so good to be home. It's so good to see my American and Global Beauty League members. And also, shout out to Global Beauty League because y'all been doing that. We are officially top 50 in the country of Jamaica. Glory to God. I love that. With me being so young, y'all, I'm so happy. And sometimes when I might not feel the support, I feel it. So I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be in these places. And most importantly, creating the things that we have not seen. And we will be talking about that a lot in this conversation. But like I said, for my newcomers, welcome again. I'm so glad to have you here. You could have watched any other podcast. You could have listened to it, but you are here with People's Princess Podcast. And for that, I say thank you. Thank you. Hope you all join either the American or Global Beauty League family. We'll be so lucky to have you. And most importantly, this is a space that not only promotes security, but it promotes comfortability in whatever the case may be. So let's get into today's conversation. But before we do that, make sure to bring all of your snacks, your drinks, if you like stuffed animals, blankets, and also, most importantly, bring a notebook and a pen because this conversation is very, very important. You want to know why? Because y'all, we are about to show up to a funeral. I know I got on all black, but we might be attending a funeral if we don't do anything. And that goes for my American Beauty League. Today's conversation is entitled America's Circus, where we will come one, come all to the 2024 United States primary elections. Now, election season is one of the most stressful seasons in the world, believe me. But I am also a first-time voter, so it's very important that I add this conversation, not only just for the first-time voters, but I am out of state. So it's very crucial that I give y'all this conversation in its entirety, but also give y'all quality because that is what was asked and requested of me. So we're going to go do that. But before we get into our conversation, I made us a smaller checklist, which will be on the side that you will be looking at right now. And we will be talking about a lot of different topics. So make sure to use your checklist, which is on my Instagram page at People's Princess Podcast on all platforms. Make sure y'all follow that as well. And we'll be talking about a lot of different things along with using many different guides created by P3, which is super exciting to have as well. And we're going to make sure that everybody is not only educated while we leave, but we make sure that everybody is comfortable because, trust me, this season has made all of us uncomfortable in terms of who we're going to vote for. What do we look for in a potential candidate? All that stuff. So we're going to go get into that. But like I am going to issue guys a little bit of a warning. If you do have any type of bias, prejudice, whatever the case may be, make sure to leave it right now. If you do have anything where you might want to leave the episode, go do that. Take your time, do whatever the case it needs to be. So make sure that you come back into this space and you feel welcome and safe. So we are first going to start off with what does it mean to vote? So if we're going to look at the definition for vote, it means to cast or conduct a vote. Now, it might not have been the definition I was looking for, but it's something. So a lot of you all know it is time for us to vote. And every 4 years, we will be commencing in the 2024 election or whatever the year may be. I'm just using 2024 as an example. So during this time, we will be voting for a lot of many different officers, including the president of the United States. And I believe we're on number 47. Yeah, we're on number 47. And if you are not in the loop for who the candidates are at this time, there are actually a lot of different parties. So we're first going to start off with the Democratic Party, which is going to have Kamala Harris, who is the current vice president under the 46th president, Mr. Joe Biden, and is also having a running mate of Tim Walz for the position of vice president, who is also the governor of the state of Minnesota. For the Republican Party, we have Donald Trump, who is the 45th president of the United States and has his running mate of J.D. Vance, who is from Ohio, I believe. And we also have third party. I believe it's Jill Stein and some other people I might not know, but I know Jill Stein is under that. So a lot of us might be wondering, what exact party should we be looking forward to looking at? And if you guys have not watched the debate, you will only be seeing a lot of things from the Democratic and the Republican parties. And it's very important that you all watch that. So if you have not watched that, I will be inserting many different links and most importantly, some transcripts to go help you all kind of figure out what's going on. And it is very important that you all vote in this election because we have to think long term. A lot of the issues that are pressing us right now at this time that I will be going further into along in the conversation, it's very important that you not only do your research, but you fact checked everything. Fact checking is one of the biggest things that is confusing our communities, whether we realize it or not, on a small or even a larger scale. But I would like to say, if there are any local elections, make sure you start there. It is very important that we vote on all levels, starting from the local to the national to the federal. Go on all levels, even in your state. So if you have any questions, make sure to ask your current officers. And if you do have the time to email them, send them letters, because it's very important that you actually get to know these candidates for themselves instead of learning it from social media, which we will also get into a little bit later in this conversation. So the reason why, for me, what it means to vote is to kind of exercise my civil duty. Like I said previously, I am a first time voter, but I am also having trouble. On here, I will be vulnerable. I have been noticing for a lot of Americans, even myself, that I'm not actually registered to vote. And I'm like, wait a minute, I registered last year. So I don't know if it's some voter suppression. I don't know. I'm not going to put it out there. But I will be making sure that my vote is getting count. And also, with me being an out of state student at college, it's very important that my vote gets there. And I will be also talking about the different ways to vote, which we will be kind of transitioning into this point now. So there are many different ways to vote if you did not know. First off, we have in person, which can be at your DMV's office. You can go to a church. I know back home we actually did have like a small little place where a lot of different spaces in our neighborhoods are designated as poll places, such as a local church, senior citizen home. I believe you can go to, like I said previously, a DMV office. Whatever the case may be, make sure that you kind of look at that. Also, which is the method that I'll be doing, is called a mail by vote or an absentee vote ballot. So what that means is, since I am not in that state and I am currently in another state right now, I have to be able to send in my vote by mail so that they are able to count it. But the thing is, I have to send it in by voting day, which is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, by the way. And it is also very important that you all keep up with these dates as well. So we are going to now transition into the to vote or not to vote, a follow along guide on the 2024 U.S. primary election, which was made in July, which will also be addressing a lot of different things in this episode as well. So if we are going to first start off, like I said previously, election day is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. So be sure to do that. If you do not have a ride, if you do not have anybody trying to do that, make sure you go do that as well. And I believe you can vote in many different places. As I said previously, you can vote in your DMV office, the designated places. I believe you can actually vote in a public school if they do have, certain poll places, just make sure to look up poll places in your state. And also, if your state has the opportunity to vote early, go vote early. Please do. If you got to wake up early at 7 o'clock in the morning to go vote, go vote. Go do that. And it is very important that before you go vote, you need to know all of the facts. So let's transition into exactly how do you fact check this? So the reason why I'm bringing this point up is it is very imperative for you to fact check and research without bias, because we tend to hear a lot of things from social media, and especially those who worship these candidates. I'm talking about the Trumpanzees. No shade, but yeah, it's very important that we learn for ourselves, because if we do not learn for ourselves in this time and place, we are going to be led incorrectly, which is what is going on right now. And a lot of the things that you can do in order to fact check can be look on certified news outlets. And some of my favorites include ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, whatever the case may be, your local news station. Or if you do have anybody come to your school and talk to you, if they are in the world of politics, be sure to listen to them. And even make sure to tune into your governmental things, whether it's live on YouTube, news stations, whatever the case may be. Or if you do have the opportunity to go to these things in person and listen to it, make sure to listen, please. And for a lot of people, it is also time to register to vote. And there are many different ways to register to vote as well. And this will be at the National Mail Voter Registration Form, which is, I believe I did that. I don't know, but I did do that. I have to make sure I said it right. In person at your local election office. You can also vote there as well. Yeah. Your DMV office, college voter registration events. Recently at my institution, we had a voter registration event, which was hosted by, I believe her name was Anaya. But girl, you did that. Seeing a lot of people, especially at my HBCU, it kind of meant a lot to see a lot of us kind of come out and hear what a lot of us had to say. And most importantly, what it meant to see other people that look like us and talk like us talk about these pressing issues. So I have to give her shout out, and also to Political Science Student Association and the Democracy Fellows. I give all y'all dues. Shout out to Ben and Jerry too for coming. I'm sad I didn't get to meet y'all, but hey, so's life. And also, you can do this online as well at these websites such as us.gov, vote.gov, vote.org, and so much more. And the next question may be, what do you bring when you're getting registered to vote? Make sure to bring any accepted form of identification, and what that may look like includes your U.S. passport, driver's license, state ID. I don't know if birth certificate is included in that, but make sure to bring it. And if we do talk about those things, when you are going to vote, make sure you bring everything. If there is any problems with your stuff, make sure to have anything as a backup, because yeah, things happen. And I will say that as somebody who did experience it when I was registering, and even as an out-of-state student, because at first I was going to call my mom and be like, Ma, what do I do? But at the same time, it's very important that if you do have questions, be sure to ask anybody that is assisting you, because they are there to help, because that's their job. If they're having a good day, if they're having a bad day, they are hired to help you. So do that. So we are going to now transition into the issues that are concerning us in this election, which will also be pulled from our to vote or not to vote guide. And I will be going through each and every one of these to ensure that you all not only hear it, but understand what is going on. So first, we're going to start at abortion rights, which I believe is one of the most pressing issues at this time right now. And also for context as well, in 2022, Roe v. Wade, which was one of the, I want to say, the oldest laws in terms of abortion safety and laws that will allow women to safely abort without judgment, was overturned. And it has caused a lot of unfortunate and unneeded chaos. I would like to say that actually recently in the state of, either North or South Carolina. Y'all can fact check me. A woman had a miscarriage and was charged with murder. Literally, she was charged with murder because she had a miscarriage and she could not have an abortion. Recently, in the state of Georgia, somebody had. I really had to stop before I say this because it was a baffling story to me. And I do want to say that if I do stop at any time, it's just because a lot of these things are very pressing. And it's also kind of overwhelming as a podcast host to explain these things. So if I do stop, if I seem upset, don't mind me, okay? It was in the state of Georgia, and a woman was supposed to be receiving care to have an abortion, but she died. It was too late for her. And we have these politicians that are telling us, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. There are not many safe havens in the country anymore in terms of these laws, because we say that we want A, B, and C. Y'all want to go protect everybody, but y'all are not able to speak for a woman because you do not have a woman bodily parts. Like, to me, this doesn't make any sense. And it's also disheartening because this concerns me as a woman, because what if I had a child and, something was to happen to me and I couldn't have any right to abort my child in a state that does not allow me to? And also, abortions do cost a lot of money, as I did research. It depends on where you go, but also to travel to another state that can be so far away from you, and that care that you need might be immediate, but for you not to be able to receive it is, again, alarming and disheartening to me. And if we transition into another issue, healthcare. Healthcare is very important, especially for those who are of immigrant status and are under a lot of different things, because healthcare should be affordable to all, but unfortunately it is not. A lot of our healthcare systems only are offered for a certain amount of people in specific groups tailored to them. But also, healthcare is not affordable, which is another crazy thing. Healthcare is not really affordable, which is also disheartening as well, because, as I stated previously, there are many immigrants that do come from their countries seeking asylum or even seeking new jobs and a new life that do not have the opportunity to receive free healthcare, which is absolutely sad and unfair. So let's make sure we look out for that. And next, I have talked about this when I first got on here, and I'm so sad I don't talk about it anymore. Global genocide. A lot of us, what we have been seeing from Palestine, Congo, Syria, and all these other countries that are going through global genocide and are unfortunately not getting help, although we are their allies. But at the same time, our country is helping out the allies that are killing those countries that we wish to be freed. You know what I'm saying? So for everybody that is in Palestine right now, or Palestinian Americans, or even just coming from Palestine, I see you and I hear you. I'm sorry for not speaking out as much as I did, and we gonna make sure we get them out as much as we can, because I believe America has been aiding Israel for a long, long time, especially in the role for Israel versus Palestine, which has been going on for a long time as well. And global genocide, although it might not be a big concern to many, it is a concern, because we are seeing our government participate in these global conferences. I believe specifically recently they attended the NATO conference as well, where they did vote on this pressing matter, and a lot of people were upset because they decided to abstain their vote for helping Palestine, which a lot of Americans have been upset about, and I have seen it, and it's unfortunate, because at the end of the day, for us to be a country in an alliance with others, okay, I get that, but at the end of the day, people are dying. Like, literally, Palestine is almost gone, which is crazy. And I've never seen that a day in my life. So, like I said, free Palestine, free Congo, free Syria, free all the countries. If there's anything that you can do to help donate, also support Palestinian creators, artists, whatever it may be, make sure you support, because a lot of those funds are going back to that country to help them rebuild. And now, as we transition into the point of immigration, as I did kind of touch bases on a little bit, a lot of our states right now are offering themselves up as sanctuary cities. So sanctuary cities are cities that are helping many different immigrants, where wherever you come from you have a place, and there's supposed to be some type of housing. But let's get into that. A lot of these housing for immigrants, sad, because for somebody who has this idea of the American dream, like, oh, I get to have a new house, I get to do A, B, and C, I get to have these opportunities. America's not offering that up. And it doesn't even have to be on a federal level. It starts at the local as well, because a lot of the citizens are upset for the reason being that they are A, not being taken care of correctly, or B, there's not a lot of options to provide them help. And I definitely feel as if we do sit down and say, hey, we should do this for immigration, we should do this for the immigrants, we should do this for even kids, because kids also are affected by this. A lot of the immigrants, they do come with babies, they come with children, and they should be able to go to school, they should be able to live the life that they deserve, and also they should be able to have some type of clothing, because crazy thing is, sometimes when they come over there, they don't really have a lot of money, so there should be some way for them to have some type of help from the government as well. And now let's transition into another thing which also does break my heart, is gun safety. Gun safety, with what we have seen, is insane. But also if we add on to civil rights at this point. In terms of a lot of the things that we have been seeing, it has seemed like violence on the local, state, and national level has increased so much. But at the same time, it has also lowered, which is a crazy thing. But we are seeing a spike in a lot of different categories, such as police brutality. I can't believe we're still lynching people. Like, why are we still lynching people? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what are we doing here? And also execution. This still breaks my heart to talk about. I can't believe I'm speaking about this on media right now. A black man by the name of Marcellus Williams was executed, wrongfully executed, might I add, for something that he didn't do. And the last words that he said were, "May praise be to Allah in all." That honestly broke my heart, because I believe I've only seen 2 executions. One was in COVID and one was recently. And also in terms of police brutality, we've seen, starting from 2020, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, who's also, her case broke my heart as well. Her boyfriend, I believe, was charged for the murder, Ahmaud Arbery. Although that's not police brutality, he's still under that for Black Lives Matter as well. We've seen Sonia Massey, also broke my heart as well. In terms of the lynching, Javion McGee, this was just insane. A lot of these laws that we have that have been written since, I want to say, 1960s, you know that there's not a law for lynching at all, yet they're still happening. And crazy thing is, y'all, surprise, the Ku Klux Klan is back. What? Huh? I thought that was done, but apparently not. So we're not gonna get into that, okay? Because I might do a whole spiel, but I ain't gonna do that to y'all, because yeah, it's still concerning seeing that a lot of people that look like my skin color is still receiving a lot of things that we wish that we wouldn't have had. And honestly, y'all thought since 1963 we all would have been better, but turns out we are not. We are not receiving the paid reparations that we wish to have. And also, the craziest thing is, a lot of the things that Black people were wishing to receive, we don't have anymore. I believe that the Tulsa massacre of 1921, I believe they didn't even receive the money that they wish to have, all of the lasting survivors, which is also crazy, because they built a Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you do want to research that, I suggest you go research it. But for African Americans to not receive the rightful reparations, or is it reprimand? I don't know. I think it's reparations, but somebody can correct me. I am just baffled because this is insane. As an African American female who attends an HBCU, that is just absolutely sad. And transitioning back into the point of gun safety, school shootings on a rise. What has happened since I want to say Parkland, which was in 2021, and then we had Uvalde, and now recently Appalachia High School. When is it gonna stop? And I'm being so honest with y'all. When is this going to stop? Especially for a lot of kids, whether from elementary school, pre-K, high school, college, master's, PhD, whatever the case may be. We shouldn't have to wake up and think like, dang, am I next? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's very important for us to be in a space where we can feel secure and comfort, which also means we need to do background checks on these securities. We also need to have more protocols in place. But also the craziest thing, what I did hear from, I forgot the man's name. If I find it, I'm going to put it in the description. He basically was telling a story about a teacher, and there was like a school shooting or whatever. And she said in order to stop her kids from being scared, she had to give them lollipops. Again, insane. Nobody should be having to practice for a day in which they might lose their life. And it's absolutely insane to talk about on all levels. And again, when is it going to stop? When we transition into this new level of wellness on all levels, whether it's starting from physical, mental, spiritual, so much more, especially for those who are experiencing some type of things that are going on that are classified as crazy or whatever the case may be, everybody deserves to have a space to practice their levels of wellness that they wish to obtain. But unfortunately, we don't. And that is another problem that a lot of candidates do need to speak on, because there are many statistics that do speak on the mental health, that speak on the depression, anxiety, suicide rates. Suicide rates is at an all-time high. And I've specifically found that out in college students as well, which is another sad thing. Um, it's absolutely disheartening to see that we don't have mental health resources that are not only just free, but actually useful, because sometimes people feel as if therapy doesn't work for them. And what might work for one person won't work for another. And I feel like a lot of governmental resources need to be added to everybody, but also make sure that it is affordable as well, because you shouldn't have to be paying out of pocket for therapy service for your insurance. Like, let's be so real right now. And it's very important that as a college student, they also give it in a way that allows everybody to feel safe and not violate HIPAA laws. But we're not going to get into that in here. So if we do transition into another point, I've been saying if we transition a lot because I want to make sure that I end it correctly on each point and that I touch everything. And we are going to talk about fear mongering in politics, which is a very big thing. Now, for those who do not know the term of fear mongering, I also did kind of look this up as I am right now. And this is basically saying the action of deliberately arousing public fear or alarm about a particular issue. So this is very common around election season, because we are seeing many things that are going on that kind of give us the question like, oh, so is this going to happen if we elect this man? And also we are seeing this with Project 2025. Project 2025, but also Agenda 47. Agenda 47 is a set of laws and things that Donald Trump wishes to have if he was elected president, which is another crazy thing. For the Supreme Court justice to be ensuring these laws as if this man is getting in office is insane, which is another thing. When you vote your president in, did you know that they're getting Supreme Court justices as well? They're appointing them. So if your next president does not give you the right Supreme Court justice, which is why, again, Roe v. Wade got overturned, Supreme Court. Look these cases up. I'm telling you. Like, just look it up and tell me what you think. And the reason why fear mongering in politics is affecting a lot of us because we tend to take it and run from it, especially with social media, which is why I do want to go into the point of saying, please refrain from being on social media every day. If you don't know something, if you feel overwhelmed, step away, please. And if I introduce to you all a method that was created by myself to, oh, excuse me, to ensure that everyone feels comfortable and feels safe during this time. It is called the SPRS method. I've been trying to make sure I say it right all this time. And it stands for step away, pray, reflect, and self care. And if we go through each point little by little, like I said, if in any case you had an anxiety attack, panic attack, or if you're feeling stressful, if you're feeling depressed, if you feel unsure of what's going on, step away from your phone, pray. If you do not pray, that is okay. But for all my Christians, we know how prayer works. Ask somebody to pray over you too. You know what I mean? It's very important that you receive some type of comfort, some type of healing in any way. Also reflect. Reflection is one of the most biggest things that can help you during this election. Oh, for me, reflection has allowed me to see, okay, where have I gone wrong in terms of researching? Where have I gone wrong in terms of listening to others, especially in the media? And also self-care. Take some time to self-care, do some self-care, find self-care methods that do not harm you. Yeah. But just relax, exercise, go for a walk, make some food, whatever the case may be, enjoy yourself, because if you stress yourself out that much, you're going to become overwhelmed and you're going to do something that you might regret in the end. And I do not want that. And also, if I am dovetailing back on the point of wellness, it is also, I would like to say, PCOS Awareness Month, which is a very big topic amongst women, and it should also be on a bigger scale. And along with that, it's also Suicide Prevention Month. We need to start talking about that. We need to start bringing these statistics to our governments and say, hey, this is what's going on. But crazy thing is, they see it. So call out your people. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy? We can actually make our own laws ourselves as kids. So I would like to say, if it gets a yes from both the House of Representatives and the Senate, your bill becomes a law. And I feel like it's very important that people know that, because if you don't see something, say something. And it's very important that you address that with anybody. And also, if we're going to kind of go into another point of fear mongering, let's talk about the debate. Let's talk about that excuse of a debate. Okay? If you guys do not know, recently there was a debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, which ended up in turmoil. Everybody was on Twitter just like, did he really just say that? Like, let's talk about it. How did you go from abortion to China to the cat and the dogs? No one was eating cats and dogs. No one was eating cats and dogs, Trump, in that state. Like, come on now. I just feel like in anything, none of those things were fact checked. But surprisingly, Donald Trump got fact checked 33 times. And surprise as well, he got fact checked for his own wrongdoing for January 6, 2021. Or as we like to say, the insurrection. Like, are we actually holding politicians accountable? Are we actually? But I also do believe Kamala got fact checked once. But for me, I will say this, as a Black girl, seeing Kamala up there kind of raised my spirits a little bit, because I've never seen a Black woman from that perspective kind of give something so inspiring, but also give me hope. You know what I mean? Because it's just been hell. Heck, we almost seen Donald Trump get assassinated twice. Y'all talking about he should have been dead, and y'all was wrong. Y'all can't be wishing death on people. I know y'all hate that man. I don't hate his. I can't say hate. Hate is a strong word. I'd have a strong dislike for the man, but I don't wish him dead. You know what I mean? But Let's not wish these things on people, guys, because you reap what you sow. But let's keep that real on an above point. But I would like to say fear mongering also does come from politicians as well, specifically the Republicans. Because if we are seeing this, especially with what I said previously with Project 2025 and Agenda 47, a lot of these things are allowing us to know that Donald Trump is trying to become a dictator if he is placed in office. And also, crazy thing is, even in our states, we are seeing a lot of these laws being enacted, and it is putting fear in us. Yet at the same time, we're not fully reading everything, which is another point that I would like to say. And I do not want to be canceled when I say this. Even though a lot of things are being said on social media, make sure you read it for yourself. Ask questions, because there are a lot of people that are experiencing these things. And also ask a politician. Ask a politician, please. Ask your locals. Just do that for me. But there is so much more that could be done in terms of the things that we wish to see. But also, when it comes to fear mongering, make sure that the things that you are watching come from an actual fact checking site, i.e., ABC News, CBS News, NBC, all the things I stated previously. And if we talk about these issues that are concerning us, make sure that the candidate that you are choosing aligns with who you wish to see, and most importantly, what you want to see in the world in terms of more issues such as equal job opportunities, gender identity for those of the LGBTQ community who has received a lot of backlash. And also, I will speak on this as well. So, again, don't cancel me. But a lot of transgenders, especially African Americans, are being killed. I believe there was another one that was our racial counterpart that was recently killed by her spouse as well. So we need more protection for those of the LGBTQ community and also racial diversity in the workplace. Because there's something called EEO, which is equal opportunity, but we're not seeing that in a lot of the spaces. And also in our schools too, which is why a lot of people get upset that HBCUs are on the rise. But at the same time, a lot of these HBCUs ain't got no funding. So whoever the next president is, can we get a little money, y'all? Please. But I'm being actually real about that. If we go into also as a college student, inflation. Why is everything so high? Why is groceries high? Like, please give me a reason. I should not be having to spend almost a whole bunch of money on groceries just to go sit in my dorm and go eat some food. Like, come on, man. But let's go back to another point that I wish I did touch bases on in my other guides, which is to register to vote. I also created a new guide for that as well, which I didn't really believe a lot of people saw, but it was released on 9/17/24, which was National Voters Registration Day. And these are the questions that I did have other people ask me. So we are going to kind of transition into that point as well. And for me, also, to find out that I was not registered was crazy, because I'm gonna give y'all a little story. But I registered to vote here in the state of Georgia at my school, and I had to keep doing it over and over again because of identification things. I'm like, is that voter suppression? But I knew it wasn't. So when I went to go see, can I get an absentee ballot because that's how I'll be voting, I found out that I wasn't. So I was like, okay, so now I have to do the whole process again. So this is also a guide for myself. And if you are looking to see if you are registered to vote, which is, I do suggest everybody does before you go, you do need to make sure to check the website www.headcount.org and click on the option, are you registered to vote? And also there will be a little slash on the side explaining each rule to you as well. And what if you're not registered? That's absolutely okay. If your status does not come up in any case, please make sure to click register to vote. And a lot of people have asked me, is it easy to vote or register there for it? Yes, it absolutely is. Although it can be stressful because you're putting in so much information, Head count will do the rest for you. This is not sponsored, but shout out to Head Count though. We love you. When should you register? If you haven't had the chance to register, please start at this episode. I beg you. Remember, check all deadlines for your respective state and start there. And once you are finished registering, your application will be received and reviewed by the Election Board of Commissioners. And I believe you will receive a voter registration card for that as well. And once that happens, you are able to choose any method to vote. So, yay! When I tell y'all, I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to show I'll be like, I'm registered to vote. You see how People's Princess is registered to vote? Very classy, very mindful, very Amaya, very Chicago, very Cinderella. Very much so, very much leading by example. But that's not the point, guys. Let's kind of go into this point of how we move forward. I know this election is giving us a lot of uncertainty, giving us a false sense of hope, giving us whatever you may be facing, but let me give you all a sense of encouragement. This election means a lot, and if we do have the opportunity to receive the first African American woman in office, which I believe a lot of people are scared for, especially our own people, which is another thing that does break my heart. We're our own enemy sometimes. We are not allowing others that are in our communities to be in the places that they are godly ordained to be in. And I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying that we need to be able to pick for ourselves what we're looking for. And it's very important that you listen to these conversations, listen to those who you can trust, listen to the actual politician themselves, and listen to the press conferences they have. Although some people do believe that they're trying to gloss you up in the little interviews, in the debates, in the little rallies. Just pay close attention to what they say and see if it aligns with you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged during this time. Understand that you are needed at a time like this. I believe that in this generation right now, we have done one of the biggest voters turnout in terms of last year's election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, which upset the orange man and his Trump handsies. But yeah. But let's kind of go into that point. I would like to say, before I end this thing, do not idolize these candidates. They are not God and they will not save you in the end. Period, point in the blank. So please do not worship something that is not your God, please, because a lot of people don't realize that you could be idolizing somebody, but a lot of people don't know what idolization is or what that may look like, which is absolutely okay. But when it comes to politics, do not submerge yourself in a world that does not welcome you 100%. If that is not where your heart lies, if that is not where you're supposed to be, don't do it. It's very important that you understand that now, this moment. Understand that every day of your life. Don't idolize somebody that does not care about you. Do not idolize somebody that did not die for you on the cross. Thank you. But no, going back into the point that I recently said, you are needed at a time like this. You are needed at any given moment. You are needed to let somebody know, okay, this is what I've noticed, but I want you to see this side of it. It's very important that you express your opinion, express your thoughts, but most importantly, express everything that you have, but also do it with class, do it mindfully, do it very professionally, and do it with a smile. And if they have to argue, just say, I appreciate this conversation, but I'm going to walk away. You know what I mean? And yes, 2024 has been a hard year for all of us in terms of police brutality, in terms of execution for African Americans, in terms of civil rights, in terms of abortion. And to anybody that is facing these things right now, I want to come on here and say that I am praying for your family. I'm praying for you. I'm praying that you receive not only just comfort, but security in knowing that you are safe and that your safety will come. Justice will be served at a due time. Just know that God is giving you justice on your behalf. Just let him do it. And if anything, if you did not learn anything from this, take the time to learn about everything that is going on. Take the time to take care of yourself. Take the time to see what exactly is in these elections, and don't stress yourself out when it's time to vote. Vote like you never did before. Vote like it's your last day. Like, do whatever you have to do to ensure that you are heard and ensure that you are voting long term. I had to ensure that this conversation was given enough to allow you all to breathe. So we're going to do a little breather. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I didn't really want to do a lot of the comedic things because I wanted to ensure that y'all see everything that is going on and that y'all hear my voice in this. As I end this conversation, I do want to say, as it is Suicide Prevention Month, if you or a loved one is suffering with anything, be sure to call 988. The People's Princess Hotline is open. I will be doing another video and also do the SPRS method, which will have another small guide released with that as well. Talk to a loved one, talk to a friend. My team and I are very dedicated to giving you guys resources during this time. So it is okay to not be okay. I do want to say as well, if there's anything else that is going on, do not hold it in. Do not wait till you make a harsh decision where everybody does not know. You know what I mean? So tell somebody before it is too late. I just want to end on that part. Please make sure to vote. I'm going to say it again. Vote, vote, vote. Go out and vote. Get your mama, get your daddy, get your uncle, get your sister, get your cousin, get your pastor. Get everybody to go out and vote. Go with you. You know what I mean? And hey, make sure you registered. I'll make sure I'm registered too. Yeah. I'll make sure I'm registered and I'm going to prove that I sent it in. I'm going to let y'all know when I do it. And also, if you are not right with God, go get right. Because these politicians can't save you, but God can. Jesus can, matter of fact. One thing I do want to say is support Black creators. I have been saying this for a long time, but make sure to support not only just all Black creators, but small Black creators, because a lot of us are going through certain things and we need to support. So make sure to commit to doing that and find a new creator every day to support. Send them some type of encouragement. Listen to their audios, watch videos, buy their art, listen to their music. Whatever they do, support, support, support. We need to see our people show up and show out as our racial counterparts do for theirs. And also, most importantly, make sure to read all of the guides that are here to help to vote or not to vote. And let's get registered to vote with P3. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to a first solo conversation. More to come. People's Princess Podcast. There's so much more coming out. So please stay tuned. Thank you all so much for welcoming in once again to the Palace, the Glass House. Once again, my name is Amaya Kai. In all things that God says I am, that is who I am. But I am still a human. I love y'all very, very much. If you have anything that's going on, talk to me. I'm open. Anything. Also, be sure to follow all social medias at People's Princess Podcast for all updates, forums, new stuff, announcements, because we got a lot. And also my actual personal, which is the.Amaya Kai, like my son. So with that being said, I am your host, Amaya Kai, the HPIC Chicago Cinderella. And this has been a new conversation right here on the People's Princess Podcast, the only home for those intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. Stay safe, stay blessed. Remember, in anything. To be a blessing is not to receive it. Your heart, your passion, your dedication, your drive allows you to bless people even when you might need it. I love you all, and I will see you all next time.